Hello once again, I'm Keith Haywood, and thank you for joining me for yet another midweek message on behalf of St Anne's Church, Chasetown, for Wednesday the 1st of December 2021. Over the decades, there have been many people who have worked for the cause of others and set themselves challenges that have often driven them outside of their comfort zone. Out of all the names that might spring to mind, there's probably none more prevalent in recent years and has captured the hearts of the nation as much as that of Captain Sir Tom Moore. On the 6th of April last year, the world was inspired by his achievement when, at the age of 99, with the aid of his walking frame, he set out to raise £1,000 for the National Health Service by walking 100 lengths of his garden before his 100th birthday on April the 30th. Up until that point, there were only a limited number of people who had heard of Captain Tom Moore, a retired British Army war veteran. But during those 24 days of his fundraising efforts, he became internationally famous. On the morning of his 100th birthday, the total raised by his walk had exceeded £30 million, and by the end of that day had reached a staggering almost £33 million. In recognition of his efforts, he received the BBC's Sports Personality of the Year Helen Rollason Award. He recorded a #1 hit single with Michael Ball. He was appointed as Honorary Colonel in the Army, and finally made a Knight of the Realm by Her Majesty the Queen. Of course, such people as Captain Sir Tom Moore don't do what they do for their own glory, but simply for the glory and the help of other people. Another event that almost moved me to tears took place just last week as I watched the former rugby league player Kevin Sinfield run into the Leeds Rhino Rugby Stadium, a team that he'd played for all his rugby playing career. He was just finishing 101 miles in 24 hours, running from the rugby stadium of Leicester Tigers, where he now coaches, in the hope of raising £100,000 for motor neurone disease, from which his former teammate and good friend Rob Burrows is currently suffering. And the last I heard was that the total that he'd raised had exceeded almost £1.5 million for MND. Add that to the 2.5 million he raised last year by running 7 marathons in 7 days. What a phenomenal achievement. And of course, we've recently witnessed the annual fundraising efforts of so many people for children in need, which this year, on the night, raised a record over £39 million. Such outstanding events usually take individuals well outside of their comfort zone, doing things they wouldn't normally do, and achieving far more than they thought would be possible, simply in order to help someone else have a better life. Over the past 21 months, the recent pandemic, which is still very much with us, has created so much disruption to us all. Yet despite all the upheaval devastation, and heartache, it has also brought out some of the best in human nature. Often that's meant someone stretching themselves to the limit and going that extra mile, just one more than the 100, pushing themselves beyond their comfort zone, and all for the benefit of those they're trying to help. This is very much a principle that Jesus spoke about when he addressed a crowd of people one day on a mountainside. Let me read from Matthew chapter 5, verses 38 to 44. You have heard that it was said, an eye for an eye, and a tooth for a tooth. But I tell you, do not resist an evil person. If anyone slaps you on the right cheek, turn to them the other cheek also. And if anyone wants to sue you and take your shirt, hand over your coat as well. If anyone forces you to go 1 mile, go with them 2 miles. Give the one who asks you, and do not turn away from the one who wants to borrow from you. You have heard that it was said, love your neighbour and hate your enemy. But I tell you, love your enemies and pray for those who persecute you. These have been termed as some of the hardest sayings of Jesus, because what he's saying often goes against our natural human instincts. The emphasis here is on kindness rather than hurtfulness, generosity rather than envy, a spirit of giving rather than getting, forgiveness rather than revenge, love rather than hatred. It takes an awful lot of effort to live a life of self-sacrifice. But what a difference it makes when we're willing to go that extra mile in order to put our own desires behind us and serve one another, following the example of Jesus. In this lead up to Christmas, I wonder if there's anyone who you or who I might go the extra mile for. A prayer. Loving God, we give thanks for all who have been willing to go that extra mile in showing loving kindness to others by their thoughts and actions. As we prepare to celebrate your love for us once again this Christmas time, in sending your only Son into the world, show each one of us how we can go that extra mile in showing your love to others. Amen. May I wish you a very blessed Advent and a Christmas that's filled with the love of Christ.